Hey everyone, welcome to my, I guess you could say, early September opinions. Late August, early September opinions. I mean, I know I did them earlier this month, but these are the early September opinions because I got the issue just today of 2/16. And again, as you probably listened in my previous video, I have to say it was a great issue. 8 out of 10 for the main story, 5 out of 10 for the backup story. And I apologize if I went a little quickly, if I didn't make much sense in that review, so I apologize for that. But there's a lot of things that I find interesting about it. You know, like I said about last month's issue, we got a lot of, questions, that need to be answered, a lot more hints about what's going on. And one of the things that I noticed though about this was the fact at the end of the main story when Rotor kind of jokingly said to Silver, try sitting across from Hamlin and then I'll be impressed. Silver asked, who's Hamlin? Well, what's a Hamlin? So it makes me think perhaps Hamlin could be the next target, could be who we think is the traitor. Now I know, like I said in the previous opinions of the past, and a lot of you have agreed with this, you may not think Hamlin's a big threat, but sometimes they say the smallest threats are the ones that are the biggest. Or sometimes the ones that are less known or not taken seriously are the biggest. And I truly believe this could be the biggest. I mean, come on. I mean, why in the world would Ian make Hamlin into a jerk if he didn't have motivation? It's kind of like right now with WWE. WWE has a play-by-play announcer, Michael Cole, acting like a jackass, if you will, every time wrestler Bryan Danielson comes out, and he kind of starts getting a little bit towards other wrestlers. Like recently he said something about enough about R-Truth's singing and dancing and all that, or something like that, about a week ago. But think about it, why would WWE do that to Michael Cole unless they don't have something big planned for him? The same thing I could say with Ian Flynn. Why would he write Hamlin as a jerk if he doesn't have something planned for Hamlin? What's the deal? I mean, what's the holdup, if you will? Something tells me he's got something planned. Now, as far as the rest of the story goes, leading into the next, as far as the backup, now, as far as the revelation that Mammoth Mogul is Silver's master of the future, it makes me think, perhaps, that maybe we'll get, I know Ian's got a story coming up, a 4-part story coming up for Sonic Universe focusing on Silver. But it makes me wonder if maybe real soon, in the main comic, we're going to have something to where the Freedom Fighters may, I'm not saying they would, and I'm not saying Ian would write it this way, but I'm wondering if maybe we're going to have a story where the main freedom fighters go back to the future with Silver and find out that Mogul is the master, and maybe try to convince Silver that he's being used, that he's been lied to. I'm not trying to say that's something Ian would do, and I'm not saying that's something Ian's got planned, but after reading the story, the backup story, makes you want to think about that. Now, as far as the next issue goes, with the Thicker Than Water 2-part story, featuring Bunny and Sonic. Oh. Sorry about that. Had an itch there. But like I said, about the backup story featuring Sonic and Bunny, Thicker Than Water, the 2-parter that starts next month. It makes you, I've got a feeling with that story, Ian's going to reveal something. We all know Cream's coming up in the last Sonic Universe story arc of the year. But it makes you wonder, how does she become a part of this? Well, it makes me think Cream's going to be revealed as either a cousin or a sister or some kind of relative to Bunny Rabbit. Think about it. How else could they get Cream into the story? I can't think of any other, can you? Anyway, that's what I see happening here. Now, And don't be surprised if Vanilla is the person from Bunny's past. I wouldn't be, but then again, who knows. But anyway, that's what I see happening. Now, as far as the other stories go for the future, we know that after Thicker Than Water, we got In Service of the King. Now, we don't know exactly what's going to happen with that issue, or that two-part story. But what makes me wonder is if you look at the cover for that story, In Service of the King, which I think is 219, you see Elysis behind Sonic and Jeffrey. Above in another window you see King Max. So I'm wondering, as I mentioned in my previous opinions, I believe, if maybe Ian's planning on trying to do a story where Max wants to try to regain power. Max wants to try to regain the power so he can set things back to the way he feels they need to be. You know, I'm just curious about that. I mean, I know that probably doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but if you think about it, it does make a little bit of sense. And then as far as the fact that we're going to find out what Lena Dove looks like in the next couple of issues, or next 4 or 5 issues, that's going to be really interesting. I cannot wait to see what that looks like. I mean, who knows? Who knows what she's going to look like? Maybe she'll look like a monster. Who knows? Or maybe she'll look like herself, but have the ability to become cybernetic on the fly. I don't know. But, yeah, you know, again, the way I look at it like this, you know, when Silver asked who Hamlin is, or what is Hamlin, it makes you think perhaps Hamlin could be a top candidate to the traitor. Because Silver mentions to Mammoth Mogul that he's close to the truth. So it makes you think. But also, it makes me think perhaps we're going to get a story later on down the road to where Ian's going to have the Freedom Fighters travel with Silver to the future, find out that Mammoth Mogul is Silver's master, and try to figure out maybe perhaps that Mammoth Mogul is using Silver to basically gain revenge, even if it's in the future. And, you know, that's the way I look at it. And as far as, like I said, next month's issue goes, the next story arc, or the next two-parter, I don't know why. I mean, how can you have Cream in a story in Sonic Universe if you don't have any explanation of how she got there? So that's why I think Cream's going to make her debut next month, or within this story arc along with Vanilla. I've just got a feeling they're going to be part of Bunny's past. I know it sounds crazy, but you know, it makes sense. And when you take a look at the preview at the end of 216, where it says lots and lots of rabbits, and you can see that on my video, it makes you think again. It makes you think that this could be where Cream and Vanilla make the official debut in the comic. Because it only makes sense. It only makes sense. Now, again, you know, and again, about Lena Da, I don't know exactly what she's going to look like, but it's going to be very intriguing. Mammoth Mogul, you know, being the master, you know, again, I've got a feeling the Freedom Fighters are going to probably go, I'm not saying Ian has it planned, but I think Ian's thinking about something like that. I just got that feeling. And of course, a lot of people want me to talk about Sally and Sonic. I know a lot of people think I'm not going to talk about that. Well, let me talk about that for a second. Let me talk about that. Sonic and Sally are getting back together. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you've seen the hints at the end of 214. You could see the hints probably in future issues. There's no denying that these two are going to get back together. Now, if Ian throws us a curveball and says, okay, I'm not going to do that, then that's going to be a surprise. But I think Ian wants to do it. But he's doing it at a pace that will basically, in my opinion, make everybody think, okay, that, you know, that hates this couple, that makes them think, okay, maybe it's not too bad they're going to get together, but at least it's being done in a right manner. And that's the way I look at it. It's being done the right way. Ian's doing it the right way. He's not rushing into it. He's taking his time, and it's definitely going to be worth the wait. So, you know, look forward to that. And I've got a feeling he's got something planned for 225, because according to the new editor, something big's going to happen. But I've got a feeling as we get towards the anniversary issue, 225, you're going to definitely see more Sonic and Sally getting together in a big way. Now, the question is, Now, I wanted to talk about this. I've talked about this before when I used the Extra Normal program online. But I want to talk about this now. Speaking of SonicxSally and speaking of storylines of the future, I've got a feeling Ian's not talking about it, but I know he's got it planned. Ian is going to do a story real soon in the future. Very soon. He's not going to say anything, but I've got a feeling whether it's before 225 or after 225 or something like that, he's going to do a story where Sonic and Sally and Amy are involved in some kind of a triangle. I've got a feeling, even though yes, it looked like Amy and Sally are getting along good here, something's going to happen that's going to get Amy in Sally's face. I don't know what. Now the reason I say this is because well, first of all, I want to throw a plug out to a Flash comic on DeviantArt called SonicxGX, and its 8th episode that I saw yesterday, and I found it hilarious. I found it really good. But throwing a plug out to the person that does that, and I'm watching that person as well. But this story, but basically what you had here was sort of a comedic thing of Amy being angry at the fact that Sally was on a date with Sonic. What I've got a feeling, like I said, is I don't know if it's going to happen after the 225th issue or before it, but I've got a feeling Ian has something planned where he's going to have Amy and Sally and Sonic involved in something where Amy is basically, I think, going to finally confront Sally into saying something about her relationship with Sonic, and about how, you know, this is just going to probably lead to her breaking off with Sonic, and that Amy's the more reasonable selection, or whatever you want to call it. I know that doesn't make sense, but I've got a feeling that's what Ian may have planned in the future. I'm not saying he does, but knowing Ian Flynn and knowing the way he writes, I wouldn't be surprised if we get that in the near future. But again, you know, those are just my opinions. Those are just my opinions. Now I don't know exactly what's going to happen in the near future, again, with some of the story arcs, but what Ian's got planned, I know he's going to do something big. He's not going to tell everybody everything, but he is going to do something huge with 225. But again, like I said, we're going to see story arcs. It's just a gut feeling, and I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I've got a feeling Ian's going to do something real soon. It's going to have the Freedom Fighters go to the future and finally convince Silver that maybe he's being used and being lied to. And I've got a feeling we're going to see, you know, a situation with Amy and Sally and Sonic. I know that sounds pathetic and crazy, but I think Ian's got that worked out. Again, I believe Cream and Vanilla are going to make their debuts in this next story arc. I have that feeling. I mean, what better? I mean, how else can you explain Cream's appearance in Sonic Universe? And you know, really, that's about it. You know, that's all I could really say. Oh yeah, of course. I know some people want me to talk about Nicole. I've got a feeling Ian. I just got a feeling Ian's got something planned for Nicole. That's all I could say. Something big. Something important, and believe me, she is going to get a love life real soon. And from what I've seen, fan art wise, it could be with 2 people, but I think Ian, Ian's the kind of person that will listen to the fans because he was a fan himself. So I think what Ian's going to probably do is test the waters, and he might do something. I know it sounds ridiculous, but Ian, I've got a feeling, he may test the waters by having Tails go with Nicole. I know that sounds crazy, I know that sounds retarded, but that may happen. Heck, he may even test it and have Nicole go with Rotor, but the way Rotor was established, I don't think that's going to happen. But again, that's my strong opinion. I think Ian's going to have Nicole go with Nicole. Test the waters with love-life relationship kind of deal. I could be wrong, but if you look at the fan art, some fan art, I think a lot of fans are in support of that. I could be wrong again, but that's what I'm thinking. And that's all I could say about my early September, late August opinions on the Sonic the Hedgehog comic book and franchise. And that's all I'm going to say. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out. God bless. I'm out.